Everyone can hear us now, even though there's this little.
Sure. I will turn off my microphone for 2 minutes.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to. Let everyone hear us. This is regular casual talking, and we're live right now, everyone. Thank you and welcome to Blasphemy Day 2025, International Blasphemy Day. And we have Momo with us already. We have a couple more guests still coming. Hello, Momo.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Rami. Thank you for welcoming me.
Yes, thank you. Let me make this a little bit louder. Let's see. Okay. And let's just tell everyone. Oh, we have Jenny with us already. Let's see. Jenny, hello.
Hello.
We're live already, by the way. I should have mentioned.
All right. Can you hear me then?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay, and we are still expecting one more person, but I'm going to go ahead and start saying to everyone what we're doing here today. And actually, let me start a comment real quick. I got a lot of little things to do. I wonder how much stuff I'm going to miss. So let's see. That's done. Okay. Oh, do we have somebody else already with us? Is that what? No, I heard some noise.
Yeah, that's probably my WhatsApp. I'm thinking, how can I turn it off?
Yeah, I don't know. It's okay if there's little noises here and there. It's okay. Don't worry about it too much if you can't figure it out. So what we have going on today is we're going to be talking about why do religions and people in authority criminalize freedom and call it blasphemy as a discussion panel. While we're doing that, we're going to be talking about Betty and the Free Betty campaign. Ibtisam, can somebody say her last name? I always get it wrong.
Lashkar.
Lashkar. I think I'm saying it. So we're not going to be talking about just in the abstract. A lot of people think we talking about something that doesn't really happen. This is really happening to Betty right now and to thousands, maybe millions of people. I don't really know. And then we're going to talk about EXMNA, ex-Muslims of North America, about their organization and a couple projects they're doing. And then we're going to also talk about, I think I'm saying this right, Femen.
Yeah.
Femen, and that's an organization Jenny works with or deals with, or she'll be telling us later. I don't really know the connection exactly.
It's an activist movement.
Yes, you know, I understand that, but your role in it is what I meant. Like, maybe you're the founder. I don't really know. I haven't asked yet. We're going to find out.
Okay.
Okay. And we're still waiting for, and I don't even know how to pronounce this name. Is it Rihami? Is that right? Anyone know?
Yeah, it's Riham in French. Riham. Or Riham in Arabic.
I see. Okay. Ours are different, right? Yes, I'm not sure I can say that. Okay.
Riham.
Rihami, okay. So I guess should we wait a little bit for her, or maybe we get started and she joins?
We can get started. I will text her if you.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know her. So.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. So the reason we have, or one of the main reasons we have Momo and Rihami with us is they were at the protest in Paris on 8/6 related to, Free Betty, and also Rihami is a close friend of Betty's, if I understand correctly.
Yep, you do.
Yeah. So let's see what's next on here. I got a lot of little things I have to do. Maybe put a banner. What's next? Let's see. So there's the discussion panel question. And, guys, I'm not really sure exactly whether discussion panel should be first and then Betty things, or Betty things first, then discussion panel. Do you guys have an idea? Because I can flip it.
Well, me, I have an idea. Were you planning to introduce the female movement? Or later?
I was thinking at the end, but if you think it's relevant now, then I'll change it to now.
Well, just to know who's Jenny. No, after that, of course, you will talk to it more. But just to...
Yeah, Jenny, you want to say a little bit for everyone about that? Like Momo was saying?
Yeah, how much is a little bit? I can speak for hours about famine.
How much is a little bit? How about 1 minute now, and then 5 minutes at the end, and then I will ask you for a whole episode later.
Famine is a movement that started in Ukraine, 2008, 2009, where there wasn't really any feminism. So it was like self-invented, not similar to the feminism that we see in the rest of the world. It's still, I believe, the most radical feminist activist movement, because we do our actions topless with messages written on our bodies, and we try to get as close as possible in our actions to the people in power that we don't agree with. And what we do not agree with, our three fundamental legs, that was the beginning of famine, is against the sex industry. In Ukraine at that time, it was kind of considered as a brothel of the world, where men would go find poor but blonde and by the standard beautiful women that were abused in trafficking and prostitution in different ways. So that's one of the main fundamentals of famine. And now it's, of course, still a big problem because of the war, and it's also been added the use of women's wombs in Ukraine. So it's a use of poor women that we are against. But this also has a foundation in theocracy. In Ukraine, of course, it was Putin and the Orthodox Church that was the beginning. But later, because of needing to run away, because our third leg was also the dictatorship, and at that time it was still Yanukovych, who we were doing many protests against in famine. So at the end of 2012, most of the leaders had to run away from Ukraine as refugees into Europe, into Western Europe. And that's when it started to join more girls also from the West, of course, from France, where it began. Our closest colleagues were the team of Charlie Hebdo. But that's when it was the beginning of the Arabian Spring. So Alia Al-Mahdi joined, for example, and she became a refugee in Sweden, where I am from, and where I founded Femen Sweden. In 2012, 2013 is when I made my first actions for Amina in Tunisia, when she disappeared because of joining Femen. So religion is really a fundamental leg for all of us in Femen, that we fight the patriarchal religion and the oppression that it brings. Of course, mostly the Abrahamic religions, because we are based in countries like Europe, like North Africa, like Middle East. There's been some few girls in China, Korea, India. We also have girls in South America sometimes, now from Brazil. But mostly it's based on our own experience, and then solidarity with our Femen sisters when they are arrested. Like Betty is not a Femen, but she's been involved in different ways, and I know her since long. And yeah, so she's a sister of us that we are now doing what we can for.
What you said so far has shocked me. I'm in a bubble in the US. I didn't know it was like that. I kind of assumed that Ukraine was kind of like where I am. I don't think it's as bad here. There's still misogyny, and I mean, in our country, we just lost our 1970s law for abortion, and now it's horrible here. But it sounds like what you're saying is much worse.
We have had some activists in America too, and in Canada too. And we have made some action against Trump in his first election. But yeah, when Femen began in Ukraine, it was considered to be the most poor and the most patriarchal country in Europe. with a
Okay.
lot of corruption
Wow.
too.
Wow. I wonder if it's being so connected to Russia.
We have always made lots of actions against Putin. One of my first ones was climbing into the Russian embassy in Sweden, protesting the anti-gay law 2013.
You did that. Wow.
Well, actually, my big first one was inside the Stockholm mosque.
You know, I don't know really. I can't say I know what the term rational feminism is, but if I was to guess, it's
No,
kind
not
of like,
rational, radical.
sorry, radical. I meant radical. The word rational is always in my head. So
Yeah, we are rational too.
radical. Yes. Radical feminism. If I was to guess what it means, tell me if you agree. Like the non-radical would be like, hey, as a woman, hey, we want equality, but we'll go ahead and wait until you're ready. And I imagine radical feminism is saying, we're not waiting until you're ready. We're going to take it now.
Yes, I mean, a lot more than that, because we run up into the face of dictators, and it's not so easy anymore as it was in the beginning, because security has become a lot more difficult to pass this 1.5 decades since the beginning. But yeah, in the beginning, we used to run up really in the face of the dictators. Topless.
Yeah.
What was the worst dictator that the female faced?
The worst?
Yeah,
I guess,
like the most dangerous. You know, there's some dictators who are not that.
I would say Putin, that we were trying to warn about all this time. And at that time, people maybe didn't see him as so dangerous. And that's why it's with a slight bitterness that we see now that he was allowed to go ahead the way he did, because we've been warning about him since the very beginning of his slow planning for the war that he's doing in Ukraine. But we've been in the face of Berlusconi, not very dangerous guy maybe, but we've been quite close to Erdogan. We've been quite close to Trump. We've been being beaten by Islamic. I don't know exactly who it was. It was one of the. It was actually now in September, 10 years ago, 2015. And I'm saying this because in Sweden, the big news yesterday is that we had an imam in Sweden who spoke in the summer about how to correctly beat your wife. And it was just revealed in the news now, like 2 days ago.
Did they say it's with a little stick? Does anyone get that joke? What they say now?
I don't
They
remember.
try to soften it and say it's a little stick. It's not really.
No, I don't think he said that. I don't think he said it. I left a link on my Facebook of what was written that he said. But 2015, there was a big conference in Paris where there was also some imam that was known for speaking about how to beat women. And we had 2 activists there with niqabs. And both of them were from Northern Africa, grown up in Islamic families and culture. And exactly in the moment that he was speaking about how to correctly beat a wife, following the practice of the prophet, they ran up and took off the niqabs and were attacked by a lot of men that ran up on stage and kicked them and beat them. And that was 10 years ago now. And that was one of the more intense.
Nobody tried to stop it? No man tried to stop it?
Yeah, they tried to stop for us.
No, I mean, tried to stop the other men, like good men stopping the bad men.
No, not that I've noticed from the video that there is.
That's horrible. Okay, let's continue talking about Femen at the end of the show. And let's go ahead and start. And, you know, I guess we have to start now. Rihami's not here yet. So we'll go ahead and start talking about both things. The question we're here to talk about today and Betty. And real quick, Momo, is there anything you could do about your lighting? Because we can barely see you. And if not, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll just move forward.
I'm outside. Wait. Tell me if it's improving.
That's better. We can see your face now. Before we couldn't see your face.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Momo.
How are you guys?
There we go. Okay, so the question we want to consider today is, why do religions and people in authority criminalize freedom and call it blasphemy, while at the same time we want to make this concrete by talking about the case of Betty? So does anyone want to start, or
Who wants to start the theory?
what is it?
Well, there's one part is theoric, why the religion are fighting it by calling it blasphemy. Of course, this blasphemy word is only used by religious people. Technically, it does not apply to non-religious, but well, we get the point.
Yes, but do you agree that, I'm guessing you already do, I don't know if you were in the meeting preparing for this, but the concept of blasphemy or criminalizing speech, people do it in the context of other than religion. It's the same logic, it just doesn't get the name blasphemy.
Yeah, it's how to get rid of your opponent by
silencing them, right?
Yeah. It does not apply. It applies also with the word Islamophobic. In a way, it's like a blasphemy of criticizing the poor little Muslim who are living in Europe. So,
yeah, a really old case, and I don't think anyone uses the term blasphemy for this.
yeah, well, the mechanic is the same. I mean, in France now, we cannot really say the church is the maybe spiritual dominant movement. Now it's more in France. I mean, it's more. Well, I don't like the word, but leftist. So, like, they decided that the Muslims were to protect. So, of course, with their logic, we are the opponent. So, we are the blasphemous people. So, they call us Islamophobic.
Yeah. So the case I wanted to bring up was, this is 2,500 years ago or more. Socrates, the famous Socrates everyone knows, was executed by the state, and his charge was corrupting the minds of the children against God. Well, that's the same logic as blasphemy, but the word blasphemy is never used about that, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think he ever talked about God, as far as I know. I mean, I read stuff from Socrates.
Well,
no
after that,
I see the word God anywhere.
There's another story who said like what they were calling corrupting was because he was having intercourse with young boys. So it's not my theory. It has been said, like, and everyone wants to take what the part of the story that is interesting for his own agenda. So, but it's fair. I mean, it's a fair war. I mean.
Yeah, well, that whole culture at the time, it was normal for the men to have sex with the young boys.
Yeah, well, maybe not for everyone in Athena with this theory, of course.
Yeah, I have no idea how common it was, and I don't know how much bullshit propaganda was in.
I guess it's a spectrum. It has always been a spectrum. I think maybe before it was more tolerated, but of course there were some people who were against it. Example, the Jews. I mean, they were already living with they had their civilization at the time, so their civilization was saying it was forbidden. I also read that they built their own civilization against the Greek, because the Greek were like the United States of the time. So, and then they had a different mindset.
Weren't they a little bit older by at least like 500 years than the ancient Greeks? I don't really know. I don't know how much crossover there is.
Minus 500 Athena, and at this time the Roman Empire was not that strong. So I guess it was the time of the King David and those stuff.
Yeah,
the real ones. I mean, not the one of the Bible.
Anyway, I guess this part is off topic. We were trying to talk about. It's still very curious and interesting. Maybe we could do another day of discussion about that. I'm going to write that down actually. Ancient Greece and the Jews, and I don't know how to word that, but well, pedophilia.
Yeah. After that, maybe this theory is 100% wrong, and it was just made up later. But well, it's always some brain food for some debates. So yeah, most likely he was killed because they didn't. Yeah, there was another theory. He was killed also because there was the war with Sparta at the time. So he was one of the guy who was against it. So there was also a story like that. Well, you see, the problem when it's two old stories, there is so many theories, so you can.
Oh yeah. We don't know how much to change. Even for our own memories, when I remember something when I was young, and because I've remembered it, let's say 20 times since then, each time I remember it, I can be changing it without realizing it. So that's in my own mind. So imagine you put other people involved.
No, it's true. It has been theorized.
I've been during a large part of the day today working with a post that I will do after we finish speaking here, where we exchange in a photo the rib of Adam for our bodily autonomy. We posted it already on Sunday because it was the day for International Safe Abortion Day. And I'm going to repost it with another text and with some further photos of enjoying the forbidden fruit for today, because I think that already this act of Eve of not obeying God by eating the fruit to gain access to knowledge was a completely blasphemous act, and it was made in complete disobedience against the authority of God. So I think more for women than for men, just by our pure existence, we are like blasphemous just by being women. We were the origin of the sin.
Of the temptation, I will say.
What?
Of the temptation.
Well, that's the thing. It's like we are just being ourselves, and then patriarchy and men call it temptation when we are ourselves. So it's like we are blamed for everything that happens in men's thoughts and in men's bodies, but we are just being ourselves. And that's what I'm saying. Like, just being a woman is being blasphemous.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting the way men see this. Obviously, I don't mean every man. Me and Mama are not like this, I'm sure. The way men are seeing it is just from that story, the Adam and Eve story and the rib. It's like man is default, woman is a version, a second version.
From the rib.
But if you look at any of the biology, if there's a second version, the man is the second version. Why do we have nipples? Why would a man have nipples? What's the point of it?
You need to write down to have a program about that.
What? You think so? You want to be on it?
I think you can speak for an hour about nipples.
Are you going to be on the show for that one?
Well, okay. I'm not very happy to be in live streams. I'm here just for Betty, but yeah, maybe.
Okay. Maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of topic for next time.
Why nipples? That's
But also, why not? Also, why not a vagina? Like, why is birth given from a man, from his side, from a part of the body's man, created by God? Like, why is birth taken from the woman, and why is the vagina not mentioned anywhere? It's been called womb envy, that there is a envy from the man of like having this, because the whole idea of the Abrahamic monotheism is that God is the Almighty, yet it's the woman that can give birth. So there is like some envy and some need. So
it started with womb envy, and then men started a propaganda campaign with the term and the phrase penis envy to combat the real
I'm not
thing.
familiar with, oh yeah, you have. I'm not very familiar with penis envy, but maybe
is that just an American thing?
I'm just not a man, so.
Oh, I see. Well, I don't know. I don't really understand it either, just because I'm a man. Okay. Anyway, I never heard of the womb envy, but I think that one was first. And anyway, so where were we at? Oh, I'm gonna put something on the screen about Betty. This is the thing that she got in trouble for. There it is. So she posted this on
X.
On X, a post on X while she was in London.
No.
Where?
We were in London together in the end of May and the beginning of June at a conference for women that create, but who are cancelled for what we create. It was led by Victoria Guggenheim. And Betty was there. She had a room where she was exhibiting her photos from her earlier, from photos from her activism in Morocco. And she's always been, just like we have different slogans written on our bodies, Betty has always invented different slogans and printed on T-shirts since many, many years. She started her movement in Morocco already 2009, I believe, in the same time as Femen started. It's an alternative movement for individual and secular rights. And she's been doing many actions that she was there in London to talk about, which she talked about in a panel. And then I'm not even sure if it was me that took this photo, but yeah, we took some photos of each other. And later on in the summer, she shared this on X, and there was a man, I think, from what I've read, that he's in Belgium, maybe, with contacts in Morocco, like in the police and high up. So he's, from what I also read, I'm not sure, part of some quite misogynist group that make viral posts against women. So I started to get messages from Betty, like it's getting crazy. Like I'm getting a lot of comments, and this man was commenting and tagging like the police officer or police authority in Morocco for her to be arrested. And it was escalating, and she was sending me, like, I'm getting like hundreds of different kind of hate messages. And then she was arrested. So the photo was taken in London, and she posted it later on X. And now after she was arrested, there was a trial. They didn't let her free between the arrest and the trial. They also decided to condemn her to 2.5 years in prison, 30 months for posting this photo.
So I'm gonna Rehab is with us now, by the way. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I hope I'm even close to saying your name right.
It's Rehab.
Rehab. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Right. Cool.
I'm
Thank you
glad
for
to be
joining
here
us.
tonight.
Yeah. We've only been talking a little bit about the discussion panel question: why do religions and people in authority criminalize freedom and call it blasphemy? And while we're doing that, we're using a real example, which is Betty.
Okay.
And I guess now is a good time to talk about the protest that you and Momo were involved in Paris. So let me put something on the screen first. Well, hold on. I'm trying to think. There's so many little parts here. What was I doing next? I think it was this. This. So here's the protest. What is it? 80 people showed up.
Yeah, I will say we were like 100. Of course, not at the same time. Some people arrived before, some people arrived later. After that, of course, there were the tourists. Since it's Paris, it was at Place de la Bastille, which is the place where started the first revolution of France. So it was a bit symbolic. Since it was the first like real protest organized in France by ex-Muslims. So literally the first.
Wow. I guess that's you right there.
Yep,
Pulling
with
up the sign?
in the middle, Mihoud Bouchama, who's an Algerian who's living in Norway, who's very, very active in TikTok, with his wife, who's also very active, and with one of my friends. So,
And
yeah.
I guess that's Rihan.
The star of the show.
Is that right? Yep.
Yes, that's me.
Yeah. And let's see if there's another one. Oh, this is other things. This is well, here, let's finish up talking about these things. So what can you tell us about that event, how it went, how you felt throughout, the success of it, if any?
You want to start, Riam?
I will try. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to find my words because it's been a long time since I haven't practiced English. So I
Okay.
will try. So it was very. I think the word to describe it is human. Okay, very. There were people from that came from long distances, from other countries, people from several political opinions, and they were only there to talk about a freedom of belief. Actually, all of them. That was the main goal of the protest. And at the same time, they talked about people, political, who were arrested in countries like Morocco, Algeria, and other countries. So it was a good opportunity to talk about Betty. And I tried to, I made a little speech. I don't have it in English, but I can read it later if you want to. It was like 4 minutes. And it was nice for the first protest in France. It was really the first one organized here. I think it was a good start, and we can and we will build on this first protest later on.
Yeah, it's all of this that what we're doing. It's not a huge impact right now, but I think we're learning a lot as we go, and the impact can be huge later. It accelerates. So
Yeah, and we're small, so we have to do small things, but do them well. So, and when we will get bigger, we will do bigger things. So
yeah, so part of what we need to do is help
just to
help
push the
people get
movement,
in, so we get
start the
bigger.
movement. Yeah, when you start the movement, you never know how it will end. So
Yeah.
maybe the hardest part will be for the people coming later, because they will have the pressure of the first who started, so they cannot stop.
Yeah, that happens. It's a similar thing to you hear children of great parents say, I don't know how to live up to those kind of standards.
Well, yeah, but you're saying it in your pool and watching your I don't know, the TV in your big screen. I don't know. So yeah, they're not really so much to blame those people. I mean, I prefer to start my life in a in a rich family than in a poor one. So yeah, hopefully the next apostate will have it easier, in a way that we will
I'm
have.
going to argue the other side of it now. So the people who, like the children of great parents who see the standards so high and they feel like they can't do it, and then also the example you gave, the people who want to become activists and they see the activists before them being so great. The way you got to look at it is, you're like a baby level. You got to do the baby steps, and then after a few years you get to the level of the other people. You accelerate. It's not a how do I say this without math? It's not a direct relation of growth. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it was like that for the female. I watched some document, and they were saying the same thing. Like, it started, they did not really know how to do the things, and they learned on the spot, and now they can do great stuff.
Are you saying they were how do I say it? Were they comparing themselves to like the American feminism and saying we're not good enough?
No, I mean, it started with well, I don't want to be the one doing the storytelling of the female, but it started with Ina Shevchenko, and yeah, she never did it before. I mean, those things. She started with the female movement straight away, so she had to learn everything.
Like I said, they had to invent their own feminism in Ukraine because it's not like they knew anything about feminism. Because it's nothing that was familiar to them, so they invented it from their own, from what they had, from their possibilities, from their ideas. But one of our major inspirations are the suffragettes.
Say that again.
The suffragettes.
Suffragettes in France. It was the woman who started to want to vote, because in France it was a bit late.
A bit more than 100 years ago, there was a movement in Europe, but also in America, for the right to vote for women.
Yeah.
And these activists of the suffragettes, I mean, they were not topless, but they had their messages on signs, and they were arrested, they were beaten, force-fed while imprisoned, slandered, heavily slandered, as feminists are today also, especially, I would say, with the MAGA culture. But also a lot in look at Iran, the way as soon as a woman makes a body riot with the Women Life Freedom Movement, there is a lot of slander and false narratives spread. So this was something that was happening to the suffragettes and to...
So I think I know what you mean, but I wonder if I'm getting it wrong. I've never heard the word suffragettes, but after what you explained, what I know in America is what's called the women's suffrage movement, which is saying, hey, we want our voting rights. So is that what you mean? The women that want the women's voting rights?
Yes, but there were some very radical ones that they went out really and made activism and were... It was quite brutally met by society. So the level of how radical you are is very much decided by the society. So, I mean, I'm just myself, but the more I am not as society wants me to be, the more radical I will be considered. And in that time, women were considered a gender that should be at home and take care of the house. So one thing that they were always accused of when they were out, it was like the same phrase basically as I got when I was in the Stockholm Mosque doing an action, that they were saying that I was bad fucked. So it's always trying to paint like that I didn't get that no one fucked me well. So that's why I was out.
I thought maybe you meant, but it was a little bit vague, so I wanted to ask. But okay.
Yeah, and in that time, the slander that was spread about the suffragettes was that they were, like these dry old women that didn't have sex. Like there's always.
I wonder if it's weird. Isn't that a criticism against the men who were doing it wrong? Anyway, I just looked it up. Suffragettes, according to this AI, 1903, Emmeline Pankhurst founded it, Women's Social and Political Union, and this is in England, I think. Yeah, yes. British.
If I can say a word about suffragettes, because it wasn't only about the right to vote, even if it was one of the main, I don't know how we say revendication in English, but it was especially about women refusing to stay invisible. For centuries, like politics, it was like a man-only club only, and women were expected to stay quiet, to raise children, to accept laws that were made about them, but never with them. And I think that's important, because if you want to make a society that's equal, you have to make you have to make laws with the whole society. You don't have to decide for someone as if it was an eternal child. And that makes women angry. And I think it's normal to be angry if you are considered as a child for life. And the suffragettes broke that silence. And yes, they were radical, but I think it was an answer to a society that was oppressing them. And it's normal. At some point, it has to explode. Actually, because you cannot demand rights and stay and wait for your rights. You have to take them at some point. You don't ask for freedom. You take what's yours. You take your freedom. And so they protested. They got arrested. They went on hunger strikes also. They were force-fed when they went on hunger strikes, because they dare to say, we are citizens, not propriété in French. So yeah, it was messy, it was radical, but it was necessary. And thanks to them and other women before and after them, they opened doors of democracy and showing that rights are never given. We don't give you your rights, your dignity, your freedom. You take what's yours with resistance and courage. That's all for me.
And non-violence, I would say.
Yes.
Of course.
In this case.
Although, let me clarify something, at least my position on the non-violence thing. And this is not just for, like, you know, there are some situations in a country where you have to do a violent revolution. We want to avoid it every way possible, but it is similar to, if somebody comes at me with a gun, I would like to avoid that without a gun, but it might have to be I have to shoot him. By the way, I put 3 comments just now, all quotes by some people from a long time ago that understand the basic idea that women have to have a good position in our society in order for the society to do well, which includes the men. Like, men won't do well without women doing well.
So how will it go for Afghanistan now then?
That is the worst country in the world now on that point.
Yeah.
They don't even have, they took away the right of women to go to school, and they're criminalizing the women, and I guess men too, teachers who are actually, you know, in spite of that law, trying to teach young girls. They're being put in jail.
And now they have closed down internet too. So I think we're back to where we were of the tree, the forbidden fruit of the tree of knowledge, because there is a position of wanting to keep God as the beholder of knowledge, keeping people ignorant. And
you know, I don't know which country is worse, Afghanistan or North Korea. I don't know.
When it comes to gender, I guess it's Afghanistan.
Oh, sure. Yes. Yeah. But I guess I mean the ability of that country to make progress in the long term from today. Which one is worse or better? I don't know. I can't tell.
Yeah, but at least you don't need to cover your face, and you can speak, and you can speak of whatever you want, but at least you can raise your voice. You can speak as a woman.
In North Korea, you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. They have other bad problems. I don't know. I don't know how bad it is. That would need its own study. Which country is the worst? I don't know.
Well, it depends on your perspective. As Jenny said, you're right. If you're a man, you prefer to be in Afghanistan.
Yeah, but what if you're a father with 10 daughters?
Well,
what do you do then? Well, I guess.
Well, I guess you will have the Afghani mindset. I don't know. It depends on your.
Right. It's still the issue of you don't even care about your daughters, I guess.
Well, yeah, it's sad. Huh? They sell daughters in this country for a couple of €1,000.
But there's a lot of good men in Afghanistan that are killed and that they're afraid to be killed.
Of course,
now.
they're killing all the apostates, they're killing all the free thinker, and soon they will kill also the light Muslims. I mean, you never end with killing. It's a process.
And this is one of the reasons I'm against violence and pro non-violence in activism, because I find it a lot more creative. I find killing is a very lazy way to be effective.
Well,
that normally just lead
the
to
best
more.
way is to make the police work for you.
So I didn't get what you said, but I just want to finish.
No, I mean,
say what?
Well, it's more strategic. I mean, you have to protest wisely so you can be seen well by the authority, and so they can protect you well. One thing we did not say for the protest is there were many policemen. I mean, a lot. Like there was a truck and policemen, so we were really safe. And of course, if we were like some annoying group, I'm not saying they will not help us, but I mean, to be seen as not violent. It can help also to have the state protecting you with more motivation, I will say. So
I have a
also,
question for the women and Momo, I guess.
Yeah.
Suppose Betty was a man.
Yeah.
What would have happened differently? If he made that post that said Allah is lesbian, what would have happened differently?
No, honestly, they catch you, you're a man or a woman. I mean, we have some Algerians that we are following. They did something like that. I mean, similar, and they're also in jail. I think what's different is what's happening in jail. I don't know. I hope for her everything's fine. But
oh wow,
I don't know. I mean, with this theocracy, a man or a woman, when you start to be against the rulers, I mean, it cannot end well. So yeah. Well, for me, the best option when you live in those countries is to try to come to the Western countries. I mean, it's the safest thing to do. And after that, once you're here, you can be on YouTube and say what you have to say.
But you had a guy that was killed in France just the other week when he was on TikTok?
Yeah, exactly. It was so he was a Christian, but he was criticizing Islam, and well, I guess someone saw him, and yeah, he got. So yeah, it's that story. The problem is nothing happened. I mean, us, because we are following those kind of things, we heard the story.
In the US, just 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, Salman Rushdie, I don't know how to pronounce the name. Salman Rushdie. There was an attempted assassination on him. He survived it. He lost his eye. So that's happening here. That's New York. That's happening here too. I don't know that there's a place that is safe.
The worst thing with Salman Rushdie is it took them 20 years. I mean, they never forget you. That's
I think it's 30. I think it's 30.
Yeah, 30 years.
Yeah.
30. Okay. Well, even worse.
And that means the person that did it wasn't alive when that thing happened 30 years ago.
Well, you have some crazy stories in Algeria also. Like you have some people for books that they wrote, they got killed, and the people who killed them did not even read the book. So just to tell you that. Well,
yeah, we have a question here from the audience. This is my mother, actually, by the way, everyone.
The audience, or
yeah. Our only audience is my mother. No, I'm kidding. There's more people. She says she wants to know why women bare chests in their activism for women's rights. Is it because religions order women to cover all their bodies, so using nudity is like a rejection? I'm sure it's more than that, but is that part of it?
Well, when Femen began, it was more like a kind of street activism, demonstration, art, almost theater, like imitating different situations, but with clothes on and with signs. What happened was that the photographers took photos, not really of the sign with the text, but more of like the boobs, even with clothes on. So there was, like, the founders were Oksana Shashko, Alexandra Shevchenko, and Anna Hutsol. And Oksana was like really an artist also. I want to say that for me as an artist also, feminine is very much like a kind of street art too, where we interact with the people in the public space. But so she just decided spontaneously to take off her t-shirt as a protest of this constant looking at her body, at women's bodies. And then we started to write the messages on our
Since
bodies.
they're looking, you might as well write a message, right?
Yes, and we write the message so they see the message. Yeah. And then also because our actions were based on getting into places that were really difficult to get in, where you would not be able to get in with a placard. We write the message and then we rip off the clothes very fast and run up. So it's also a way to get access. But I think anyway, the most important part is the same as is happening in Iran with the body riot. It's taking back the right to our bodies, that we ourselves decide when we are sexual or not. Our bodies, when we do an action, are political. We use our bodies as political tools, and they are political tools because they are treated in a sexist way. First, it's not the rules are not the same for men and women, because men can be topless in a completely different way without any problem. Facebook has changed a little bit, but like that's one example of how you can see that it's completely okay to be a man, because apparently it's just the heterosexual men's idea of what is sexual that counts. It doesn't matter if women think that a topless man is sexy, or if homosexual men think that a topless man is sexy. It's just the heterosexual man's idea of what is sexual that matters. So because of that, our bodies become political tools that we put in the face of our oppressor, and then we take the whole debate. And I can say that since I started, I have, just in my country in Sweden, managed to change the law little by little. Facebook has changed little by little, also Instagram, and in the different countries where we've been in trials, because it's when you get to the point of a trial that you can bring forward your cause and speak for it, and bit by bit change by making people aware of the double standards. And I can speak, like I said, a lot about this, but I hope that answers some of your mother's question.
Next point is, and I want to, this is Haram Doodle says, our patriarchal world, that's the whole world, all of it, is still running on half the capacity by holding girls and women back, even when we're 50% of the population. I want to add something to that. I think it's worse than that, because when the society holds women down, that means mothers are not as good as they could have been. And in a patriarchal society, it's the mothers raising the boys that are going to be raised into men. Well, they're going to be better men if they had proper mothers. They'll be proper mothers if the society treated women better.
I think you can be a proper mother even if you're under oppression. But I get your point. But I get your point.
On average,
totally. Yes.
And over time, over many generations. That's what I meant. I should have clarified. Sorry.
No, I understand what you mean. I wanted to clarify.
Can you have a question?
Yes. What is it?
How does it not come that the women who are under a very strong patriarchal society, they don't find some ways to raise their son like not as patriarchal as the father? It has never been theorized. Like you cannot do some training program for the women in those countries that they can follow, because finally they're the one who are raising the children. I mean, of course it's in the long term, but
go ahead.
I don't know if I get the question, but
that's what I was going to say.
Momo, are you asking if why are women still like making the same scheme of
yeah.
Okay, Well, I think that Jenna talked about the body being political, and the bodies of women are used, their bodies and also their brains and everything. They are shaped. The women are shaped into tools in patriarchal societies. So when you are shaped as a tool and you don't have time, you have to make that time. You have it, actually. You just have to be aware of it. But when it comes to reproduction, controlling bodies, for example, women that are reduced to childbearers, with laws, sometimes religions, everything, traditions that makes their sexuality political, fertility political, no choices. Their value, for example, is tied to motherhood, purity, obedience. They are also used as objects of exchange in marriage. In a lot of countries, traded historically as a property, and also today. Today, it's still the case in a lot of countries. They are also used as emotional labor machines. They are expected to care, to sacrifice, and that's what is thought to them. That's what we teach them. That's what we teach women in patriarchal societies. And I think that it has to do with not, I was going to say education, but it's first of all being aware about your condition and asking yourself, why are people not considering me? Why is this system that's exploiting me not considering me as a whole human being? That's not just a tool that makes children, that is here to keep a certain privilege for men in place. And I really think that if you give people a proper education, I believe I believe like 200% that everything can be like the core of everything is education. Education, proper education, and being aware about your condition. And if you are aware about your condition and you are educated, you can try slowly breaking those rules and saying I do exist in other ways than just being a tool. If it makes sense.
That makes sense. A lot of sense. Yes. Hey, I don't know if anyone noticed. I've been putting little jokes at the bottom. But I don't see anyone laughing. That's the second one. I don't think anyone noticed them. So I wonder if that means that the bottom line of text is just ignored because I'm putting bigger text like this. Anyway, I would like to move on just to the next point of this right here. Maybe somebody who knows more than me about this can talk. The concept here is we want to do mugshots of ourselves in solidarity with Betty, right? Who knows more about this that can speak about it?
Well, first I want to say this is Rose, and she's with Faithless Hijabi. And I think the idea was for us to identify more with being in Betty's shoes now, and to see the absurdity of what's going on. I mean, so in Morocco, it's a normality that you can be put in prison for 2.5 years because of a T-shirt, because that's seen as something that is very bad. While in my world, it's the opposite. It's seen as something very bad that you would put a woman, a feminist, in prison for 2.5 years. So the mugshots, I should have checked it better, but I think the mugshots was for us to do a campaign to identify with the situation that Betty is in.
So are we asking people to do more of this? Is there a call to action I can give to people? I didn't get prepared on this little point.
Yes,
I mean,
there is. Yes, there is, and I have also not managed to prepare as much as I would like, because I would like a lot of people to wear the same kind of T-shirt as Betty was wearing, because the whole idea of silencing her is exactly to.
Well, can we do it now? Can we come up with a call to action that I can put in the comments right now? Is there a link I can send them to about this in particular?
I don't know if there is a link. If there is, it's probably at EXMNA, at ex-Muslims International.
Yeah, I have all those links, but there's so much that I'm not sure how to find the thing about mugshots, and I'm not even sure the mugshots thing is in there.
Yeah, well, you can find it at Mariam Namosi's social media. You can find it at Veiled Rose social media.
Okay.
You can find it.
So everyone watching, please go to their social media, Veiled Rose and Mariam Namazi, to see these mugshots, and so that you could do the same thing.
Yes, and if you have possibilities, there will be more and more T-shirts for Betty, but trying to silence the way she had her message written on her T-shirt should be met by a lot of T-shirts like that.
Oh yeah, and actually, that let me bring that up now. The Allah Is campaign, right here, which this is Haram Doodle's work. This is on her social media right now.
And she's also doing T-shirts.
And the T-shirts, yep. And I wanted to have a T-shirt for today, but it didn't happen. It was not enough time.
Yeah, me too.
So Allah Is, and the idea is for ex-Muslims to fill in the blank for Blasphemy Day today. And here's what we got. Does anyone want to read these? Can you see it well?
Allah is a drag queen.
Yeah.
We'll go in order. Each one of us do one. How about that? Or maybe not the long ones. And I'm kind of confused. What is that long thing? Like,
it says Allah is the invention of an oversexed underachiever who wanted a taste of power.
Okay, I see what this is. This is a bunch of Haram Doodle's followers filling in, and some of them are long, which is weird. I thought it should have been like, one word. It should have been the same format, but that's okay.
Also, I think that it would be good if they are because Betty's message is Allah is lesbian,
which is a good thing.
Which is a good thing. So I think it's good if we try to stay on that note.
Right. And some of these are not like that, like narcissistic.
Andrew,
yeah. So let's only read the good ones then. None here, I think. Nope. Okay, there's one repeated, lesbian.
Yes, Allah is lesbian.
That one's not good, not real, not good.
Allah is a woman.
There we go. Finally, an accurate one.
And God is a woman.
Yes. What else?
Allah is horny.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
If it's used right, I mean, whatever. All right. Nope, none there. I guess that one's fine. Non-binary guy.
Yeah.
And that's it. We didn't have any. Yeah, we wanted to put some good ones. I'm glad we didn't repeat the bad ones. All right. So I want to do one more thing on the Free Betty campaign. This is the petition to Free Betty. It's 5,060 signatures so far. The comment, I'm going to put it in the comments again, even though I did it before, just so it's easily found. There it is. So everyone, please go sign. I'm going to be counting, and I'm going to be contacting you guys if you didn't do it.
There will be an appeal the 6th of October, so that's in 1 week.
Appeal on October
on
6th.
Monday. On Monday next week. And so Veiled Rose is writing in for this picture how you can help. Post your solidarity photo. Any photo is welcome, black and white if you can. And I mean, I don't know if you're going to speak more, like presenting more about Betty, but it's important to say that she's a cancer survivor and she's being
Let us
denied.
say all of that. We were supposed to be talking about her condition, so please do. Yes.
But Riham, do you want to say more about Betty?
I can try. So yes, she is a cancer survivor, and according to her sister and what we got as news, her condition, her detention is horrible. She doesn't even have a mattress to sleep on. She needs to see a doctor. If she doesn't, she can be amputated. She has other people who are in prison have the right, for example, have phones and the right to make calls. I think 1 hour a day. She has the right to use the phone twice a week, which is a problem because it means that sometimes she cannot contact her lawyer, if, for example, or family if she wants to. She doesn't have the same rights to go outside for walks as others. So it feels like even if she's okay, we are against this law that's problematic, and one of my main goals also is to change and abolish this law that criminalizes blasphemy in Morocco. But even inside prison, you see a different way of dealing with her. Like people, it seems like she is taken as I'm trying to find a word to describe the situation. Like people are taking revenge on her or something because she dared to say Allah is lesbian. That's the only reason. And you cannot leave a person in prison with. I don't understand how she can sleep actually on the. She doesn't have a mattress to sleep on, and we all know that she has a prothèse. So because of her,
She has a prosthesis here
Yeah.
because she had a Ewing syndrome, I believe it's called. It's a bone cancer when she was
Yes.
19, 20 years old. And there is a problem with the prosthesis, and she can lose her arm if it's not treated. And she was supposed to be in treatment in France because she's Moroccan and lives in Morocco, but she also lives in France and works as a psychologist in France. I would say that at best, they are punishing her and trying to scare her to not do anything more when she comes out. At worst, they're trying to kill her because this can kill her.
Of course, it can kill her because if
And
they
they're scaring everyone else.
Yeah, it's actually this in Morocco, for example, you had these last years a lot of people who tried who started criticizing religion on social media, faces on or off. Like sometimes they don't show their faces, and I think it's also a message to others. If you dare, this is what will happen to you. You will end in prison, and this and even if you have problems, health problems, whatever, we don't care, you stay there. Actually, really, the mattress shocked me because she's been there since August now. And can you imagine the situation of someone who has a prothèse and he cannot sleep on a proper mattress? It's torture.
It was her 50-year birthday, like the week before she was arrested, and before that, I know she had also her toe was broken. So I think this becomes a multi health problem. So I think this will arise different health problems that endangers her life. With isolation and everything too. I think she has also the right only to speak with one person that little time that she's allowed to speak with someone. I don't know, because I would like to know from someone who is more a political analyst from Morocco if this has something to do with the elections in Morocco in 1 year from now.
That's a good question. I'm not a political analyst, but I know I was told that you have the far right, so which is a religious far right in Morocco, that used so the post on X, the Allah is lesbian with the T-shirt, to say this person, look at this person is insulting God, blah blah blah. She needs to be arrested, and this person is an ex-prime minister. And I think he is trying to give a certain image, like, look at me, I'm defending conservative values, blah blah blah. So I think that it's somehow linked, Chinny. I cannot be sure 100%. I won't accuse him openly without proof, but it's political. It's a political game, and he wants to be elected. So it's an easy way to say to people, look what I am doing. I am defending.
Pretty sure it's always political, right? Isn't it? Always.
Of course.
They're trying to win over half the population that agrees with them, or even if they don't agree, even if they're lying, they're just saying something that they think more than half the population will agree with. And since it's Morocco, it's a bunch of men who are misogynists. What do you think?
I think that it must be mentioned that Betty has been wearing all kind of provocative and blasphemous and anti-paragraph T-shirts for a long time.
Yes.
Okay.
And something is going on now that they suddenly decided to go so hard on her. And I want to denounce the many comments that are coming from Morocco where people, mostly men, but not only, are saying that, like she had it coming because she was using a T-shirt like that, even if actually it was used in London. I don't know how much she's been using it in Morocco. It was a photo on X, and that was what also gives a harsher condemnation, because it's considered as she's spreading a message. She's not only using a T-shirt, she's on social media promoting a message. So that gives an even harsher penalty. But so the idea that I'm seeing in comments is that this is an Islamic society, so it's a democratic society. I'm not sure Betty would completely agree with that. She often speaks about how it's like run by this king that is treated like a pope or a semi-god. But it's not apparently, and this is Blasphemous Day today, it's not allowed to have a free-thinking, different opinion without going to prison for 30 months for a T-shirt. I mean, how is that a democracy? But this is still the argument that is coming back in the comments, like it's her own fault. She had it coming. This is a democratic country. We choose these laws. This is the laws that we have in this society. She should follow them. If she doesn't, good that she's in prison. She should be there.
Are these people that say that, are they against that law or with that law?
With it.
With it. I think there's people who are against it that also say the same logic, because the logic I'm hearing is, if you think of a scenario of a man and woman married, and the man beat the wife, and let's say right before the beating was the woman said something that the man didn't like, I think what you hear a lot of is people say, well, she should have known better. She shouldn't have said that thing. And I think the people that say that, some of them are against the idea of a man beating a wife, but they still say that thing, she should have known better. It's like they don't know how to blame the man.
And like it's like an idea that they should protect themselves, which goes back to Mumu's question of like, why don't more women raise their children to be more accepting of free thinking? Yeah, because maybe the mothers have an idea of how it's best to succeed in society. Even if they don't agree with it, they want the best for their children, and they want them to learn, to adapt, and find ways to not be punished and stopped and lose possibilities for work. And
I agree with you because on this point, because I was born in Morocco and I lived there for 18 years before coming to France and staying here. I've been living in France for 12 years now, 12, 13 years. And a lot of women there know that it's difficult, that laws are not are unjust towards them. So they find ways in order to have certain statute, for example, when it comes to work, or just in society, to adapt to society. And it's been something, for example, my own mother told me sometimes, you have to be careful not saying some things because you will end up in prison. Of course, I understand you have the right to think this or that, but you know what will happen if if you don't, if you go against the law. And in a lot of countries like this, women have been surviving for years this way, because it's the only not for me, I don't think it's the only way. I think there are other ways, but for them, and I understand them, of living there and being there, it's the only way to adapt and to change, sometimes also to change the system from the inside also. For example, like you have to go inside the system and I don't know, like being, I don't know, in politics, or in like a teacher or whatever. And then once you're inside, you can try to change the system by implanting certain ideas, making people think about certain stuff, etc. So I agree with you with this, and I've heard this before from family members and friends who, when I was living there, and even now when I go back to Morocco, because I do go sometimes on vacation, and I have to be careful every time I go there because I don't know if I can be arrested or not. I don't know. So the last time I went back to Morocco was in February, last February. But right now, with everything that's happening, honestly, I don't feel like going back. I don't want to. Maybe I'll do it.
Back to Syria, that's for sure.
what?
I said I'm not going back to Syria. That's for sure.
Oh,
I was born in the U.S., but I visited Syria many times, and I actually got married to a woman over there. We're not married anymore, but anyway, I was 26 years old. So that's 21 years ago, something like that. And I haven't been back. And after what happened recently, yeah, I can't go back. There's no way. Plus, now that I'm public like this, that would be dangerous. I don't think I should go anywhere besides right here.
and that's one of the points, I think, of why we need to speak up on days like today and all the other days too. But this violence is spreading. I mean, I'm from Sweden. We have people being killed in Sweden too by religious fanatics, not only Islamic. So it's a way of silencing us, and it's not so many people that dare to be the ones that speak up. And in some countries, the ones that dared are killed. So they're always continuously minimized. I mean, look at Iran. Just so many people are killed. This year, it's been like 1,000 people executed. I'm not saying that they were all political activists, but out in the streets and in the demonstrations, you are killed. In your home, you're picked up. Your family is picked up. So there is a way of always minimizing the few people that are born with this revolutionary spirit. I think in any family, these children can appear, and I think that's something very beautiful and amazing. How everywhere in the world there are little rebels born in all kind of families, and they are just not so many. So we need to protect them and stand up for the ones that are in prison, like Betty is now, and so many others too.
Yep, I think that's what we're doing here. That's what I'm trying to to do, and the reason I have to speak up is because they can't. So the ones that can speak up, we have to.
Yes.
I want to put. Let's answer this quick question from Haram Doodles. For Momo and Riham. Sorry. Have you experienced apostasphobia in France during that protest?
Go on, Ryan.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Should I answer the question of Haram Doodles or?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. The problem, and I've already said this before with ex-Muslims, is that they are oppressed in the countries that they were born in, and outside of those countries, so in what we call democratic countries, even if I don't like this comparison, I think it's too polarisé, like binary somehow.
Polarizing.
But yes, for example, in Europe, the US, etc., they face apostaphobia from sometimes people who are Muslims, and there's a very I think there's a problem regarding Islam as an ideology, because it is considered as the religion of immigrants, etc. So we have to be careful with that. I'm talking from the point of view here in France, and how some people view it. So we have to be careful not to talk about it, not to criticize it, but at the same time, they are aware that inside those communities, you have people who don't believe, and those people face oppression, like they are oppressed inside a class or a community that is also oppressed, which is very problematic. But a lot of people choose to close their eyes on this issue, because I don't know why, honestly. Also, but I think it has to do with politics once again, because everything is political, and because we are not, for now, a huge voice. Okay, we don't represent a big voice, so people choose to close their eyes on this issue, and during the protests, we after the protest, I mean online, we faced apostaphobia, but it's something that we face every day in here. Some people are even shocked, and it's like ex-Muslims don't exist. Are you really an
Or like we
Arab?
exist, but we're like we shouldn't exist.
Yes, we shouldn't exist.
We were wrong to have left our tribe.
Exactly. You are a problem in their matrix somehow, because you don't you left your tribe, but at the same time they don't know where to put you, because they want to make boxes of people. And I'm talking about politics and everything. So they don't know. They have a problem with this population of apostates, ex-Muslims. They don't know what to do with them. And I don't know if the situation, I believe that the situation will get better.
Would you say it's better than in the past? At any point in the past?
I see a lot of people trying to understand it. Like they meet you with a lot of anger and violence, verbal violence, especially at the beginning. But once you start talking and explaining your position, so yes, I'm still from this tribe, even if I don't like this term, but I just left an ideology. Actually, I don't believe it's in this for specific
right. You still
reason.
have your tribe, you still have your family, you still have your friends, A lot of them are still
Exactly.
Muslims. So why do they see
Yeah.
it as we left our tribe?
Because it's it's a racist way, I think, of seeing people. You are linked to your religion. It's like you cannot think and choose other ways of seeing and living and experiencing the things. So it's a racist way of seeing these people.
I remember a long time ago, easily 20, 25 years ago, and this is when I was a Muslim. And I don't know how it came up. Something about some movie, I don't know what. Something about that there are Christians in like Lebanon. And the guy who I'm speaking with, who's American, born from here, doesn't know much about the rest of the world, seemed offended that somebody was a Christian in Lebanon, as if automatically he was a Muslim first and became Christian, the person in Lebanon. And I said, you realize that Christianity was there first and that maybe he's born Christian and has nothing to do with Islam. And his face turned weird, like he had never thought of that. The idea that there's more than just Muslims in the Muslim majority countries.
Well,
And that Christianity was there first, by preceding by 600 years. I don't know. It's really confusing how that person, like, and again, this is while I was a Muslim going, what are you talking about?
Yes, and then in the racist way of thinking, it's like, okay, so now it's coming a lot of refugees from Islamic countries to the West, the so-called West. And then by mathematics and how many children they have, they're calculating that then Islam will be like really big in X decades in the future. Just assuming that people are born with a religion, as if
Yeah.
Yeah, as if we can't change our minds. Like, what are they not aware that people leave Islam sometimes?
No, they don't. That's really I've been experiencing this with people from several with several political opinions, being like from the left or the right, and they have this racist way of seeing ex-Muslims. It's either you belong to that tribe and you have to understand that there are certain ways of talking about Islam because your tribe is being discriminated, so you have to be careful about what you say. So this is very paternalizing way of seeing ex-Muslims and their community and their families and the people, the countries they came from. And at the same time, you have what Jenny talked about, people fantasizing that and doing maths, like, okay, so immigrants are coming, they will have babies, the babies will become Muslims, like they don't think about themselves, they don't have the capacity of thinking, of critical thinking. That's how they see them. It's like it's dehumanizing them. They are Muslims and they were born Muslims, they cannot think and be something else, and that's it. It's a There's a real pressure I feel on ex-Muslims and in the West, and also a lot of people who don't understand. And actually, on an everyday level, it's really hard to live with this, because you don't feel at your place. Sometimes you don't feel at your place anywhere. Like it's like people don't understand you, and I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to for me. I'm talking about myself. I think it's hard, and you have to be a lot. You have to have a lot of courage and to know what you are doing this, and to be just who you are. I'm not even talking about people who are militants and doing activism and stuff. Just about people who left Islam, ex-Muslims, like who just want to continue with their lives. They have to explain all the time, why did you leave Islam? Like, you don't have the right to be yourself.
A good reply would be, why do you care?
Yeah.
I'd like to put something on right now from Maryam Namazi, a little short video. There we go. And then I have to figure out how to press play. Oh, hold on. Where is it?
You need to go to that little circle down in the left corner to replay it, because
Yeah, I'm actually trying to look for the window. I have so many windows open. There it is.
Ibtisam Betty Lashkar is a well-known Moroccan feminist, secularist, and rights campaigner who has been sentenced to 2.5 years in prison for a t-shirt. She posted a photo of herself wearing an Allah is lesbian t-shirt on social media. The photo was taken in London. But as a result of a massive concerted campaign by far-right and religious right groups, anonymous accounts that threatened her with death, rape, and stoning, whilst also tagging Morocco's security services, she ended up in prison, and not those who incited hatred and violence against her. Why is it insulting to say God is a lesbian or that God is a woman? Is it because it challenges the deep-seated patriarchal view that God is always a man? Is it because it challenges the homophobic and misogynist view of those who are perpetually offended by any free thought and dissent? Religion, however sacred, is an idea. And throughout history, it has been open to scrutiny, doubt, and dissent, from Galileo to Spinoza to Ibn Rushd, and now Betty. And let's not forget, religion is an idea that not everybody subscribes to. Not everyone in Morocco believes in Islam. There are religious minorities, there are atheists, there are agnostics. People will say, well, this is Morocco's culture, it needs to be respected. Well, the photo was taken in London. But apart from that fact, it's not everyone's culture to threaten Betty with rape and stoning and death because of a t-shirt. That's for sure. But also, what's very true, fundamentally true, is that culture is not uniform. Culture is constantly changing, it's constantly being challenged. And the culture of the ruling class, the culture of the offended, is very different from the culture of people like Betty and those who are defending women's rights and LGBT rights in that country. If respect for culture was the mantra of the day, we would still have members of parliament who own slaves, and women would still not have the right to vote. Betty's arrest and imprisonment for 2.5 years for a t-shirt is scandalous. The fact that she is a cancer survivor and needs urgent medical care for her prosthetic arm means that her imprisonment puts her life and her welfare at serious risk. It is degrading and inhuman punishment for a t-shirt. Betty has to be free unconditionally. Freedom of expression is not just for believers, it also is for non-believers to be able to question, to criticize, to challenge dogma, misogyny, and homophobia.
I think she said it better than the rest of us. She probably planned it.
Yeah.
So let's see, what do we have next? We're running out of time. I think we got to stop now and move on to the promo for ex-Muslims of North America. You're all welcome to stay if you want. So let's go ahead and put it on now. Which one do I have to do? This one right here. Oh. There we go. Okay. Oh, I made a mistake, it looks like. So at the top is supposed to say newsletter and donate. I didn't mean to do that. Let's see. Too many windows open. Okay. So I have a little script here that I'm going to try to follow without sounding like a robot. So this is Ex-Muslims of North America, founded in 2013 by Muhammad Sayed and Sarah Hayder. Their mission is to support the rights and dignity of ex-Muslims, those who left Islam. We advocate for the right of all people. I said we. I'm not part of EXMNA, although I am trying to help and do things. I should read it like this. They, the organization, advocate for the right of all people to follow their conscience, whether that means leaving a faith or choosing another one. EXMNA provides community advocacy and resources for people who often face stigma, threats, or persecution of their choices. To learn more about EXMNA and their work, visit their website and sign up for their newsletter, and also donate, please. I'm sure what they do costs a lot of money. You're about to see in a second here. And I'm supposed to put a comment. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So, there are major projects. We're going to the next one here. The whynotislam.net website and the fact that they're putting up billboards. Do I have more on this? So it's let's see. They did it. They started this fall, launched the first billboard campaign in New Jersey. 2 billboards, one digital in North New Jersey and one static in Central New Jersey. They chose New Jersey because it's the most densely populated state in the U.S. Its Muslim population has doubled over the last 10 years and now numbers around 320,000. That's 3.5% of the population. Campaign runs until September 21st. So it's done, I guess, 9 days ago. The billboards direct people to whynotislam.net. Let me put that on the screen. And let me put a comment. So they're asking if you want to see this billboard in your area, reach out to info@exmuslims.org. Also visit whynotislam.net. Let's see. So what the website covers is popular claims in Islam and provides simple, rational critiques. Topics such as the Quran's divine authorship, women's rights, human rights, and scientific insights. The site is designed to be clear and accessible, not overly academic. They hope to roll out the billboard campaign across the U.S., reaching other communities where ex-Muslims live in silence. And they'd love to hear from you. Where should they launch next? And that's where you send an email to, I think I already had it on the screen. The next project, and this is like a relaunch. Let me get prepared here. Let's see. The next project is, this was still the Why Not Islam. This is the website. It looks really nice. Everyone go to that. The next one is Wiki Islam. This is an older project that is getting relaunched. Lots of changes. Let me put that on the screen too. That one right there. Okay. They've been running this since 2015, and a recent major overhaul just happened. Rewritten the vast majority of articles, added hundreds more, bringing the total to nearly 1,000. Articles are written from an academic perspective with citations and references, making them useful for researchers, journalists, and curious readers alike. Topics cover Quran, Hadith, Islamic history, science, human rights, women's rights, and apostasy blasphemy laws. According to the Wiki Islam FAQ, the goal is to document the problems within Islam and Muslim societies in a fact-based, sourced way. The site avoids polemics. It's about evidence and scholarship. There's also many translations of the articles into Arabic and French to reach a wider global audience. I'm sure they're also looking for more translators. So anyone who's interested in translating and sees this as an important work, and you should, I think, please contact them. I guess use the info at exmuslims.org. Jenny had something to say
About?
I don't know. I heard you take a breath like you were going to speak. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just breathing.
Okay. I'm listening to every noise because I want to make sure I'm attentive to you guys.
Yeah, no, sorry, I just forget to breathe sometimes.
One more point here. For many readers in Muslim majority countries, Wiki Islam is a rare lifeline of accessible information, challenging dominant narratives. Let me make sure I did. I guess I did everything. That's everything. Does anyone else have anything to say about EXMNA or those two websites? No one? No. Has anyone used wikiislam.net for like looking up information or?
Actually, I have a question for EXMNA. Did you follow what they did with the billboard? Like, did they have some goal? Did they reach the goal they had? Because I guess it cost a lot of money to.
Oh, that's very good questions, and I don't have the answers, but I'll tell you, I'm trying to get dedicated episodes for each of the two websites, and those are the kind of things I'll ask. And of course, I'll have somebody from EXMNA that can answer those questions. And I'm going to write down your question or write down your questions.
Yeah, please. It's
sure
very interesting because since we have also an organization in France, I want to know what was their goal and
whether they
reached the goal
progress,
and how much did it cost also.
Yeah. Oh, the cost too. Sure. Yeah. Okay. So everyone listening, if you want to learn more about these two things and the two projects, I'm gonna have dedicated episodes on deconstructing Islam to.
I have a last question. Sorry, if you can ask them if they have some if they had some stuff that they did not plan, like some stuff that happened to them, like some bad stuff, like
unexpected things.
Yeah, unexpected. Like
I think I remember vaguely something like that happening, but I can't tell you details because I don't.
Because
remember.
in France there was this teacher. He put on billboard like the Quran surat, like some selected Quran surat, and they sent him to, I don't know, to jail or some. Yeah, maybe he got 1 year. Like it was seen as offending. So. Yeah, I just want to know if they had some unexpected things, because sometimes you will think the law of the country protects you, but sometimes the law, you can always find another way to attack someone. So, and that's what happened with the French. So yeah, I want to know.
But why I don't recognize this case? I mean, in Sweden you can get sentenced for hate speech. If you have the freedom of expression about religion and freedom of religion. Supposedly, you're supposed to have the right to be free from religion. But we do have people that are sentenced because of hate speech. But I'm interested because I don't recognize this case that you're speaking about.
In France? Oh yeah, okay, I will send it to you.
Okay.
I can even send it to you guys now. Huh? Well. Anyway, not very important.
You can send it now. You can put it in the comments. Maybe we could look at it.
Okay.
But I think it's important because I mean today it's Blasphemy Day, so I think it's important to know if it's about blasphemy or if it's about hate speech. Because blasphemy for me, as an activist and as an artist, is something completely different from hate speech.
It was hate speech. Huh? He got in jail for hate speech, not blasphemy. Because it was just the surat of the Quran, nothing else.
Yeah, but why was that hate speech?
Well, you have some very violent.
Yeah, you have to ask the why part.
He did not choose
the same as the blasphemy.
Yeah, of course he did not choose the most boring.
But if it was from the Quran?
Well, you have some surat like Talaq, where like they say that they will fight the associator wherever they find them. So I think it was this one that he put.
But he made it in an ironical way, or he made it?
No. Well, No. Honestly, no. I'm not trying to change the story. The story was he literally just put the Surah of the Quran, but of course the one that is very hateful.
But did he put it because he supported it, or because he wanted to expose how
No,
bad
to
it is?
expose. He wanted to expose.
So he had a really bad lawyer then.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
we had another story also with someone who, I don't know, he said some bad thing. Like it was seen as a blasphemy, whatever is the story, and he got 1 year also. I can find you the two stories. Those two stories were this year we followed them,
But is this because they were not Muslim? They were like
yeah, no, they were
anti-Muslim?
not. No, they were not Muslim, and they were not. Yeah,
So that's
we
the thing.
apostate. We have a little card of no, like you cannot play the racist card with us. So yeah, but
Okay,
with
I
them,
get it.
So I want to say, I should have said this right at the beginning. Stay for the whole program because I got jokes at the end. And especially if you like dirty jokes, they will be dirty jokes. And it's kind of I didn't want to put any of the dirty jokes at the beginning or in the middle in case somebody doesn't want to see that so they can leave before we do it. Okay. And now I want to talk about Femen. So to learn more about Femen, go to their Instagram channel. The link is in the comments, and I'm going to put it on the screen now. Let's see. How's that going to work? What do I got to take down? Add to stage. There we go. Oh, Jenny left. And Jenny, we need Jenny for this because she's the one representing Femen. I guess we'll wait a little bit for her to come back. Let's see. There's Jenny. Jenny, there you are.
I never lost you. I don't know why you lost me.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I wonder if I removed you, not realizing somehow. There's so many buttons and so many things.
Yeah, you canceled me. So what I was saying is, when you want to come to this page, even me as an admin, I need to I need to write every letter because we are heavily shadow banned. So even if you write like half of what is saying here, it will probably just appear some other pages until you write it all the way out. Because this is what happened with the shadow bans on Instagram. Like even my own private page, I cannot find it if I don't write all my name.
Yeah, I have that problem on X now.
Yeah.
Nobody can see my posts. So my ad post about Blasphemy Day, it's hidden. Even if somebody tried to repost it, that's hidden. Anyway, I don't know if that's related to ex-Muslim issues, though.
It's related to how many people are reporting you.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe. I might have done something bad, though. I don't know. I've been talking a lot with Grok, so much so that X at one point thought their system thought I'm an AI and said, prove you're a human. And then right after that happened, and I proved that I'm a human, they sent me the message saying, we're throttling your account. Okay,
well,
so
as a feminine, you are more like needing to prove that you're not in prostitution, because that's the connection that the patriarchal social media site will do. It's like the heavy patriarchal mindset in really religious places. Like it's the same scale, you just land on different levels of the scale. But the social media of Facebook and Instagram
is it mostly automated, flagging your thing as basically porn, or you mean humans are doing that?
We are reported, and then the more you are reported, the more they also have like this automatic, because sometimes it's just within a second. So there are also automatic filters, kind of. But so it's a mix, because when you get heavily reported, there is like, then maybe they even close your whole page.
So you're saying it's extremely hard for you to coordinate with others about Femen?
But it's not hard for me to coordinate with my feminine sisters, because we coordinate.
Well, I meant for outsiders who don't know you to get in.
To spread the message.
Yes.
It's hard. I mean, the best way is when we do actions, because then it's in the news. but on social media, it's a constant fight. I mean, I think I spent like 10 years just photoshopping away nipples of women because there was this rule that you were not allowed to see nipples of women. You can see male nipples, but not female nipples. And then they changed it so it was like, okay, if you're doing a protest, or if it's art, then, or if it's breastfeeding, then we can see female nipples. But then they have the law or the rule and they don't really follow it. So it's still a little bit like, I mean, if you go to Femen Spain, for example, on Instagram and in Facebook, they don't want to risk it. So they just blur all the nipples to not risk to lose their page again. So we have like a little bit different approach. Femen Official is gathering posts from the currently active branches. So Femen Germany was one of the first branches, Femen France was one of the first branches, and Femen Spain was also one of the first branches, and they are still all there. And then there are other ones that we had that we don't have anymore. We had Femen Sweden, but long story. So I'm just like active in Femen International now. And now we have Femen Brazil, but there's been like Femen Turkey. We had some photos from Syria this year even. There's been some tentatives in Iran, like there's been in different places, but so we have different Instagram pages. France and Spain also have like their own websites where you can support us with buying merchandise, so we can sponsor the journeys to our actions and whatever we need for them. And in Spain, I would say that the state, there is still a lot of people in Spain that likes the old fascist regime that was prevailing for a long time in Spain. And there is a law that it wasn't there in the beginning of Femen Spain, but I think it's maybe some 10 years now. It's a gag law. So you have very little right to protest in the streets in Spain. And every time there is a protest, it's very high fines. So it's always a very economical situation in Spain to be able to continue doing activism for just like the smallest things you do on the street. They put a lot of fines on you.
Yeah. Being in the American bubble, the way I see things, again, the American bubble, protests are seen as very important here to make change.
Yeah, and look, like in France, I think this is the only country where you can be a Femen activist and like in a lot of different places in society, be proud to be a Femen activist and have it in your CV. But that's only in France. But I mean, in France, Momo was mentioning Ina Shevchenko before, who was the founder of the international movement of Femens since she left Ukraine and came to France. And she was at the French stamp for, I don't know how long time you have a stamp before you change them, but for an extended period, she was, the Femen leader was the inspiration for the French stamp, because the French culture is so based on the French Revolution, and there is this part of the culture of supporting protests, demonstrations, activism. So
would you say the protest culture in France is stronger than in America?
I've never been to America. It never really attracted me, so I don't know. But
yeah,
I would
here, don't come.
I would say that in Sweden it's not very strong when you look at the more radical ways, because you lose too much. So it's about, if there is a lot to lose, if you can lose your job like I did, lose your home like I did, like you can lose a lot, then there is not much motivation maybe. But then if it gets bad enough, like in Iran, where it's so bad that you can lose your life anyway, like everything is so bad that you're like, I need to protest because this is my only chance to have a life, because it's been like generations not having access to a life in freedom. then you are pressured in a different way to do activism because you have already lost so much. You have maybe lost family members, you have lost so much already. So like your life is like the last thing you have. And then in America, what's happening now, I mean, that's a whole book. What's going on now, if you're gonna stop it, or if you will have a dictatorship, or what's happening. But the way that it's been going on in United States, like making activism classified as terrorism, yeah,
it's pure evil.
It's a part of the handbook of how to establish a fascist state.
It is pure evil, and it is what cults do, and America is acting like a cult.
Part of America.
I'm getting angry. Did you just say you lost your job and your house because of working on Femin?
Yes, and people are surprised that this can happen in Sweden, because
I'm surprised now.
Yeah. In a way, like Pussy Riot was started after some years after Femin, and Femin made some strong actions in support of Pussy Riot when the trial was held against them in Russia, after they made this punk rock song in the Orthodox church there. And it was after that Femin had to leave Ukraine in 2012, because they were like prison long time next if they didn't leave. So Pussy Riot got like really famous all over the world because the sentences were so harsh. I mean, I think the sentence against Betty should call for a lot more attention too. But anyway, it got big because it's such an obvious repression. When you are in a country where cancel culture is used to silence you, not so much prison, not torture, not Siberian prisons, just the subtle cancel culture, it doesn't call for attention in the same way. And I'm not against cancel culture. I think it's a lot better than killing someone. But it is effective in its own way too.
That's something I want to ask you about if we ever do a big episode. Cancel culture. Bad, good. It's kind of just reminds me of basic thing. Guns are sometimes good and sometimes bad. I think even shame is sometimes good, sometimes bad. I've been saying it's bad all the time. And then a woman gave me an example of where shaming someone worked. And it's a case of in a bar, a man is hitting on a woman and not stopping after she says no 1,000 times. And so she says something that shames him, and then he stops. To me, that's like a good use of a gun. Anyway.
A gun?
Similar. Just, a lot of people say guns are bad, but no, it's good when it's in defense. So,
well, as a Swede, I believe that the violence should be a monopoly of the state, because I come from a country where the state during my lifetime has been like good. But when that changes, then it's dangerous, of course.
Well, to be clear, the police have the guns, and they're supposed to be doing the good, stopping the bad guys with the guns. So that's still
in the movie. In the movie, maybe.
In the movies, I watch a lot of movies, and sadly, a lot of my information does come from movies.
They're good with soft power on this, this Hollywood production.
But coming back to what you said. So would you say that then if everything can be good and bad, do you think
I'm not saying everything, but go on.
Well, I wanted to hear, can blasphemy be bad then?
I think there's, well, I don't know how to answer that, but I'll tell you something that maybe gets towards the answer. There's things that I've seen people do that I wouldn't do. I don't think it's helpful. And I'd rather
That's
do
what people say about Femin. They don't think it's helpful that we are
I see.
topless.
Okay, that makes sense. So maybe I'm going to refute myself in a few minutes here. But
No, I want to hear your answer. It's
I know,
a genuine question.
I'm about to say it, and I don't have a clear answer, so I'm just saying things I don't clearly understand. The idea of burning the Quran, to me, that I don't see the point of that. Like, why don't we criticize? Like, I don't see and I'm not saying he should go to jail. Anyone does that, I'm not saying they should go to jail. Definitely not saying that. I'm just saying my choice of activism, I wouldn't do that thing. I don't think it's very helpful compared to just plain criticism. Or I mean, I'm not saying I'm against all mocking either. We did some mocking here, and my jokes are all mocking. So I don't know. What do you think? Did I make any sense in what I just said?
So you're saying like the burning of the Quran is a blasphemy that is maybe not good.
Maybe we shouldn't do it, but again, I'm not saying it should be outlawed.
I just want to mention, when you bring up the burning of the Quran, that at least 2 guys that I know in Sweden that did it because it was the way that they could prove to the migration authorities that they had left Islam, that they, and also by doing it, it was a bigger risk for them to be sent back. But it was a way that they needed to do. They were against doing it.
That was a personal reason that they're doing it for.
They saw that society is pressuring us to this point, for us to be like proving that we are threatened because we left Islam.
That makes sense to me, and I never knew their reasoning, by the way, of why they're doing it. But that makes sense.
I'm not saying that everyone is doing it like that. I have another friend from Tunisia who made it just like in anger after, I think it was after the murder of Charlie Hebdo, because Charlie Hebdo are known for making this kind of dark sense of humor and very punchy humor with the drawings. Like, that's what we do in our actions, but Charlie Hebdo do it like in cartoons. And I think the cartoons have been an issue also in Syria. I remember when the Arabian Spring began in Syria, that some of the first ones that were like found dead in ditches were cartoonists. It's often that the cartoonists are early on to be attacked when fascism is growing.
Yeah, so I can't say I have an answer, but you definitely gave me things to think about I didn't think about before. Maybe next, if we have an episode, we could talk about this.
If you want me to speak more about famine, ask some question, because like I said, I can speak for hours about famine.
Yeah, I do. I have like 2 broad questions. I think you already addressed my first question, which was kind of, what kind of things do you guys do? You answered that early on in the episode. The big question I have now is, and maybe this is not even the most important thing. Maybe you could tell me what the most important thing is.
Blasphemy is the most important thing today, and bet is freedom.
Okay, this is an angle on that, I guess. If someone was interested to want to get involved with Femen, how would they go about doing that?
Just the other day, I had someone that found my email address and sent like a long, weird message. I don't think it was a woman, so I can say from the beginning, you have to be a woman, because Femen is women.
So okay, men can't get involved in help, you're saying? Okay, we can do promos like this though.
Define
yeah,
woman.
You can be supportive. You can be supportive, and that helps. But we want to do things by our own.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to
there's
support.
A long history of men always
sticking their ideas in
and suddenly being in front. And also the laws that apply to us when we go to trial don't apply to you. It's like we come from a different context than men do. So we did have from Femen Sweden 2013, there was a guy, Lucas Hertzman, who 1 year later killed himself because of being so bullied for being Femen. But he didn't make a picture that went around in many places in the world, where he, very thin guy, is standing beside also thin girl, and their bodies are quite the same, and it's like questioning with the text, like, why is his body okay and not hers? So in that photo, it made sense to have a guy in the photo, because he had been with the girls when they made a demonstration and discussing with the police that was saying, like, yeah, they can't be topless here. Like, they can be topless on the street. They can't be topless here in the street. And he was like, but if it was me, could I be? And he was like, yeah, you could. And later, when I was arrested by the police in other actions, they told me, like, yeah, you have created a discussion within the police force where we are questioning ourselves. Like,
that's good.
So that's one of the points of Femen, to make people be like shocked, like, what is this? Distorting the normality of what people are, like the status quo, distorting the status quo, and make people reflect and debate. And again, I really want to point out, like, for me, not for everyone in Femen, but for me, it's also art. And for me, I think art is like cartoons or like writing. It's the most interesting for me is when it makes people like get out of the box and think from a different perspective. And that's why I think blasphemy is so important, and why it's so important to support not only activists, but really artists all over the world that are, and it's artists also, like I see in TV, and like there are different forms of art, but everywhere I think it's so important to support that creativity, that non-violent creativity that make people come out a little bit of the box of their mindset. And the religion is really like the box. I mean, like in Islam, even the Kaaba, it's really like a box.
We're asking them questions they never thought of, and it's questions that, for them to answer it, it makes them think. And like you said, it's making the police think, oh shit, what are we supposed to be doing here? We're confused. Okay, so men can't get involved. Okay, but but kind of one did, but it's more like as an object of needing to so it reminds me of cheerleading. I don't know how it is in the rest of the world, but in the US, cheerleading, it's women doing it. And they're cheering on the team, whether the team is men or women. And they use one man who is able to throw women up, the cheerleaders, but he's not really cheerleading, but they're using him for that. That's what it reminds me of.
So you never have male cheerleaders? Like no one came up with the creative idea to do that?
As far as I know, no. They do call themselves male cheerleaders, but they're not cheerleading. They are just there to throw the women up.
But if I was there, I would reverse
you would reverse it.
Reverse it, just for people to be like,
yeah.
The twist. I mean, the twist is what I like. And to answer your question, because I went away from it. So normally when you join, it's because there is something that you are so like engaged in or upset about that you just feel like you have to do something more. And it's beyond just, like using your brain and writing articles, or feminism is a physical experience. And you went so silent. I'm like, are you still there?
We're all still here listening. It's very interesting.
So feminism is a physical experience. It's a transformative experience. You use your body in a different pose. It's not anymore the cutie pose. You go into a completely different body posture. We use anger a lot. Like Rihama was talking about anger before. We used anger a lot. And then like you were saying, like, of course, if we have trained and done this a lot, it's easy. I can switch on that in a second. I can just very easily just throw off my clothes and scream at you and do signs to you, because it's something that is like in my backbones by now, because it is a physical experience that I cannot put word to. You have to like experience it, how it is to be there. For me, it was so strong. My first time ever, not just lying down on the beach topless, but standing up in the middle of a city topless. It was in April, so it was a little bit cold, and feel the wind towards my body. I had never felt that before. It was amazing. It must be like something like when you had never had your hair in the wind, maybe. It's the same thing. It's something that is obvious for men that you can experience. And for us, I mean, so many women have never experienced with their bodies what I have experienced in Femen. So it's a transformative experience also. And it's like a way of going from sometimes like a coma feeling, like hopelessness. Like you can do it just for yourself, because it feels so much better to go out and physically do an action than be home and feel hopeless and in a coma. So it's like a personal drive force that makes you do it. And then people would say like, yeah, but what about everybody did it? Yeah, some things I think it would be good if everybody did it. If everybody could be with their hair loose and like not cover their eyes and be able to be topless in the situations where a man can be topless. But again, it's not going to be like everybody is going to be like we are. We are like a very small group that have had a very big effect in the world. We have changed things in fashion culture. We have like established a completely new archetype that didn't exist before. There has been since long time women that's been protesting with signs. There has been women that's been protesting topless, naked. For example, in different countries in Africa, there's been very much the taking off the clothes. It's a way of taking off your shield and be completely vulnerable. So it has a long history of among women and men of being without clothes in a protest with different symbolism in that. But we are the first ones ever that made this combination of topless, of writing the slogans on the body and going with our bodies as political tools, with aggressive approach to these people in power that feel like unshakable and unthreatened, that suddenly they have this topless woman screaming in their face, completely distorting their idea of what a woman can do, and changing and opening the spectra in the world for girls and women of what you can do, like expanding the box, expanding the spectra. You can also be this. And we had a slogan early on that was, there will be millions of us. And I'm seeing it happening, but it's happening in Argentina, it's happening in around the world, and they are not even aware where it came from. But I'm seeing it now, something that was not seen before Femen, that women would go topless.
We're talking just in a decade then, or 15 years.
Yes.
Wow, that's fast.
So it has happened. It's not known anymore by many of them that it came from us, but yes, there has been many. We have made an impact in changing some laws. I would say, like in France, for example, the law that criminalizes sex buyers and give more support to the women that are in prostitution, which was like based on the Swedish model, was very much pushed for by Femen campaigns. There has been other like high up changes in France. Like I said, I made like a slight change in Sweden too. And yes, we can see that there has been change during these 15 years. Even if people are like, why don't you use your brain? Why do you go topless? Well, one of the reasons is like, why do you even question it? Like the fact that you question it is a reason for me to do it. Because it should not be I mean, again, as a Swede, I grew up in a time, I'm from the 70s, I grew up in a time where the body was seen as something natural. not something sinful or forbidden. And I want to keep it that way, but I've seen it retrograding back. Yes,
in Sweden,
both from America and both from, because we have like the culture from TV and films that is more Puritan, from America, from Hollywood, but also, of course, with cultures coming to Sweden that bring a more patriarchal way of looking at the female body, and things are like going in waves, front and back. Right now, we have the most far right government like ever, basically, in Sweden, and this is happening not only in the States, or it's like it's happening in many countries right now. So that's something that is happening now that will at some point turn around again. Let's see now with Gen Z what's going to happen.
So I guess it's cyclic, but it's also moving on average in the positive direction.
I think so, because slavery still exists, but it's not accepted. Like, it's accepted, but it's not accepted by the law. And before it was, people are standing up. I mean, women are in most countries allowed to vote, and like there is more and more equality. More and more people are standing up also for animals. It's like, yes, I think there is a slow movement towards more empathy and more understanding of the other. Even if I would never have thought in this century that we would see something like ISIS or the Taliban. Like, that was like, if you had asked me 20 years ago, or in like before the Twin Tower, I would never have believed that I would not think that religion would come back so strongly as it has this century.
Well, non-religious hands were involved making it worse.
Yeah.
So in a sense, like they're the ones causing it. Not fully, obviously. Yeah, so the thing you said about you're not going out there smiling all night. Everybody has an angry look and an angry face. I see the anger in these pictures. And I didn't think of that until you said it. When I saw this before, that's not a thought that came in my head. That they're trying to, they're trying to avoid, like.
I mean, like there was in Turkey. I don't know. I don't remember exactly if it was like why it came up, but it was something like you were not allowed to laugh in Turkey. I think maybe it was in some profession, like if you were working. I don't know, there was like, so of course, if you forbid women from laughing, then of course we will do actions and photos where we're laughing, isn't it? So we always adapt the action for the situation and our possibilities, and yeah. But okay, it is more difficult now, and I'm sad to say, but 2015 did change our possibilities a lot with the 7th of January killing of our colleagues at Charlie Hebdo. With in Sweden, just 1 week later, the police took like a list of the ones that were top 3 to be killed in Sweden, 2 of them being people that I work with. And then just some week later on February 14, the Copenhagen attack, when our leader Ina Shevchenko was talking about freedom of expression in Europe, and the shooting started and more killing was done. And then the whole, like the spring of 2015, many bloggers were killed and shot to death in South Asia or East Asia, and then like continuing with the Bataclan in the end, and like the continuation of what ISIS was doing against Yazidis and in Iraq, and like it has, sadly to say, affected our way of being out there. We do not have a known headquarter anymore. We had to go in hiding after that. It's like a lot of things changed. So yeah, so violence is effective and it works. And that's why I think it's so important to support the ones that they are working for a change without violence.
Sorry, I keep switching things. Do you have anything else to say about Femin before? Because we're way over, but I wonder if there's anything.
Okay.
thing you
No,
want
like
to
I said, I can speak for hours. So if there's questions, bring them on whenever on Instagram or something. No, I can speak forever. I just wanted to bring up that blasphemy is really important, and we need to support activists and artists and free thinkers that dare to do it.
Okay. So last thing left. I don't know if you want to stay, Jenny, if you're really busy, if you got to go. We've been here a long time, but I just want to do a couple jokes. And let me put it on the screen. There it is. So, I made these, by the way. Do you want to read it, or you want me to read it, or we go back and forth because there's different characters in this? What do you think? You want me to read it?
I think I see many ex-Muslims have a certain level of sense of humor, maybe more the men than my taste.
Well,
so I don't know if I dare to. I didn't see.
Let me do it. I guess I already know the tone, and who knows? Maybe you don't even know the relevance of why. Did you know that sometimes Muslims will come into an ex-Muslim space and they'll say, as an entire post, all by itself, "What's stopping you from fucking your mother?"
Yes, I know it thanks to following ex-Muslims talking about it. Yeah.
And I've had this discussion before multiple times. And first of all, I was shocked when I first saw it. But after talking with them, I learned why, and I talked with other people about why they're doing this. Why is it so many times? Apparently, there are imams in some other countries where that is what they say to the people. The reason that you shouldn't be an atheist is because you'll go fuck your mother, I guess. And then they think this is like a gotcha question for us. So they post in our groups, "What's stopping you fucking your mother?" And they think, I guess, the discussion is going to go towards, that's why you shouldn't be an atheist, and that's why you should come back to Islam.
Yeah.
But of course, that's not what we think. And this joke delivers it, I think. So Mo, a Muslim, enters a room full of ex-Muslims. "What's stopping you ex-Muslims from fucking your mothers?" And Yasmin says, "What the fuck? Here we go again." And Mo says, "We're Muslims because without Allah, anything goes." And then I chime in. So let me see if I can understand what you're saying. "You're scared to leave Islam for fear that you'll fuck your mother." I put it back on them. They are projecting. Of course. And then Yasmin says, "I see why he doesn't want to leave Islam. I wouldn't want to fuck my father either." What's interesting about it is I don't think any of them really want to fuck their mothers. So it's really weird. Why is this even a thing in their heads? Why do they think it's useful? I don't get it. Anyway. Next one. Why did the Muslim go to Blasphemy Day? Well, he didn't have anything stopping him anymore when he realized he really doesn't want to fuck his mother. That's funny to me. Okay.
I think it's funny that it's funny for you.
All right, next one. Why did the ex-Muslim chicken cross the road? To get to the other side, because he wasn't afraid he'd fuck his mother. It's the same style of all three of them. I don't know. So that's all, everyone. Thanks for joining us, Jenny. Thanks to Momo and Rihan for coming with us too. And hopefully we'll do another great thing next time. And please do all the work for Betty. I'm going to just put it on the screen again. Why not? Do this. Please sign this petition. The link is in the comments. And also go learn more about Betty and her situation and the things you can do besides just signing the petition.
And do t-shirts, find t-shirts, create t-shirts the way she did, and with the message like hers, Allah is lesbian, or God is lesbian, or God is a woman, Allah is a woman. Like, don't let them manage to silence this way of expression. Like, multiply what Betty did instead. I think that would be the very best support.
We need to lean in and do more of it. Yes.
Yes.
Rather than back off and do basically what they want us to do. Exactly. The reason they're doing this to Betty is to get us to stop.
Yes.
So we can't do that or they win. Or that's a weird way to say it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Jenny. And bye, everyone. We're leaving now.
Bye.
Have a good day.
You too.